broadcasting live 4 days a week worldwide
from the sunny beaches of Southern California.
This is ExtremeHealthRadio.com.
This is Drew Canoli of FitLife.tv. You're listening to Justin and Kate of Extreme Health Radio. Remember, we're in this together.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us on another show here of Extreme Health Radio. Really appreciate you being live and listening and being a part of what we do. This is episode number 211, and I apologize to everybody. That was our fault. We weren't clear with our guest, and we had a little mix-up with the timing of everything, so we're about 44 minutes late. But hopefully you guys are okay with that. That's internet radio, right?
It sure is. Take it when you can get it.
Internet radio at its finest. So we apologize for that, and hopefully you guys are all doing great. And most of our listeners come from the podcast anyway. So
right.
We hope you're having a good day. Today, for reference, is Wednesday,
February 26th.
February 26th, all right, 2014. And this is going to be a great show. We have Dr. Andreas Kalker on the line, and through the magic of the internet, we are going to be traveling to Spain today.
I know. Can you believe it?
I feel like I need to go running with the bulls.
I wish we actually were in Spain. Right? That's where I'd rather be.
Pamplona, having the old tomato fight.
Oh, gosh. There's some cool stuff going on in Spain, isn't there?
Yeah, it's awesome. So through the magic of the internet, we're going to be going to Spain. We are in Southern California, broadcasting worldwide. And you could be anywhere in the world. So what a crazy thing that is, right? It's just amazing how the internet works.
Sure is.
If you'd like to support the show, there's lots of different ways to do that. We are so grateful for those of you who have been supporting us via Amazon lately. If you go to extremehealthradio.com/Amazon, every single time you make a purchase, that would be a really great way to support us and keep the shows free, because everything is free on our website. Everything's available. You can send it to your friends. It's all free. But that's how we support ourselves. So consider doing that if you could. It really means a lot to us. And let's see what else. If you'd like to join the show, lots of different ways to do that. You can listen live at extremehealthradio.com/live. You can join the chat room. You can join our brand new exclusive private community for Extreme Health Radio listeners at our forum. So lots of different ways to interact with us and be a part of this show. And like I said before, this is episode 211, where you will find the show notes and all that good stuff.
I will be taking notes of anything that the doctor says. And
that's right.
We can, you guys can access them easy later on.
Yeah, that's a great thing. So if you want to know of any of the books that are mentioned, just come back to this show page. Today we have Dr. Andreas Kalker, and he's the founding member of the NGO Earth Help Project, which focuses on helping third world nations with alternative energy, water, and health. And he's doing amazing things. And in Autism 1, which is one of the biggest conferences about autism in Chicago in 2013, he presented an interesting new concept called the parasitological vaccinosis, which is a method of successful treatment for regressive autism, where in 1 year, more than 65 children were able to overcome their symptoms and come to a full recovery, which is crazy.
Yeah, you don't hear that every day.
And so this kind of treatment has been completely different to mainstream medicine, which focuses on other issues with autism. But he does a lot of work with parasites and MMS, chlorine dioxide. So it's really fascinating to have him on, and we're going to be digging deep into these issues. So thanks, Andreas, for joining us today.
Thank you very much for your invitation, Justin.
Oh, we're so honored to have you on. And I've known about your work for quite a few years. My first introduction to MMS was actually one of your videos where I forget which one it was, but a guy came to your hometown and asked you questions about MMS for the whole
I think
video.
it was in Brussels or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that was a few years old, wasn't it?
Oof, it's a long time ago.
Yeah, so you've been doing work with, do you primarily work with MMS, or do you do lots of other things as well?
Well, my focus point is mainly on sodium chloride. So that's actually the component of the MMS. Let's say MMS is a name created by Jim Humble. So my focus, I was focused on it because due to personal success with it, you get amazed when you make studies and say how it's possible. And it's not so easy to find out how it's possible because it costs a long time. And with the years, we learned a lot. We learned of mistakes. We did mistakes. Everybody does. But no bad mistakes, let's say. So we fine-tuned every time more. And now, for example, the protocols are quite okay. The sodium chloride is activated with 4% HCl. That is the same acid you have in your stomach. And I brought out a new system called CDS, chlorine, that is a kind of outgassing.
I saw your videos about that.
Yeah, I have a book out. I don't have an editor for America yet, but it's out in German, it's out in Spanish, it's in Czech and Romanian, and about CDS. It's a little book, very, let's say, not too scientific and not too boring. You know? So people that are not professionals can read it, and somebody who is a doctor will understand it too, because I try to mix a bit. It's difficult, you know, because when you try to bring things down to grassroots level or road level, let's say. Sorry, my English is not the best.
No,
it's excellent.
If you bring that down to this point, then you make mistakes by not precisely, exactly saying the right scientific term for this or for that, or simplifying too much. But actually, my goal is not to have any gold medal somewhere. My goal is that the people understand what it is. And meet people from the street, you know, and others too, and that is logic. There's logic behind it, why it works, how it works, and what's it's all about.
Yeah, so for people like us, we're pretty well familiar with the MMS, and but for people, we've had Jim Humble on the show in episode 102, but in case people haven't heard about that or MMS, can you just explain a little bit what MMS is for people?
Well, MMS was the name that Jim Humble gave to sodium chloride, activated sodium chloride. Okay. Activate means sodium chloride, that's a very, very basic substance. If you add acid to it, any kind of acid usually, or most any kind of acid, then you create a gas. And this gas is chlorine dioxide, ClO2. So this ClO2 or chlorine dioxide is actually what is making the healing process in your body. How does it do it? Well, ClO2 is a component that has Cl, chlorine, not to mix up with a pool chlorine. This is a different thing. And in the molecular formula you have oxygen. So in the moment it finds something acid in your body, the oxygen is liberated due to the Nernst equation, and not due to the Nernst, but in relationship to the Nernst equation to be exact. And from that point on, the oxygen is creating a oxidation or a burn or explosion, or name it whatever you want, to this pathogen that's more acidic, because we know that acidity in our body is a problem. So now, when you start to eat different things, you don't turn so much around the acidity in your body. You turn it around in your stomach, but that's not the same. Because your stomach has a natural acidity from 1.8 to 2.2. Let's say, could be 1.5 to higher. And it's a natural barrier that pathogens don't get into your body. For example, a parasite that comes into usually in the body, in the stomach is, or most of them, of the eggs or whatever, are digested due to the strong stomach acid.
Yeah, that's what it's for, right? The stomach acid.
Exactly.
That's one of their main reasons. Yeah.
Exactly. The problem is now when we start to eat bicarbonate like crazy, we rise that stomach acid. pH, and everything that's coming, it's not digested. We don't rise the pH of the blood. That's a very different thing. People mix it up, and that's not very scientific, actually.
So too many people are consuming...
Are confused about. Yes, this is right. I find it, there's a very clear confusion about what's written in the internet and what's real. So how do we how do we get our body alkaline? Well, by oxidation, and we do it with our lung. Our lung system, the blood, the venous blood that goes into the lung with 7.31, goes out of the lung by breathing. You know, when you run and you oxidation. Oxidation. It's an oxidation process. It goes to 7.4 or 7.41. It means we are alkaline. The alkalinity is by oxidating. It's an oxidating process. So this is how we actually get more alkaline. One point. The other thing is by sweating. When we sweat, our sweat is acid. Yes, and the alkalinity gets inside. So acidity is going out.
I see.
The same with the urine. The urine, that is, some people measure the urine and say, oh, my urine is 6.5, 6.9. There's nothing wrong with it, because the acidity, the body, by nature, what's too much, he gets out. Body always balance. That's the law. The body has to balance, because if your blood goes down from 7.3 pH to 7.0, well, most likely you're dead.
Right,
because
your blood needs to balance.
I don't know the word right now. What's the name? Metabolic acidosis.
Oh, right.
Okay? So you're just dead. And so we have to understand the chemical process in the body. It's not so easy. I try to bring it down. Even sometimes I do mistakes by explaining it maybe too easy or too light. But I think my idea is to bring it to the people. The idea, it's not rocket science either.
Okay,
so when we understand that basically the chlorine dioxide process is alkalining the body, that's for the main people. That's enough to know.
Okay.
So you're getting more alkaline. How whatever. Processes behind it. There are much more processes behind it. It even goes to biophysics in a very interesting way. For if there's somebody who is professional wants to listen to, it is because there is it's a transluminescence in the ultraviolet spectrum at 366 nanometers. And that means that the biophotons are excited in a certain manner. Okay. But I don't want the people from your radio to run away now and say, hey, it's very boring for me. The people want to listen to how they can get help. And the help is quite easy, because actually what it does, MMS, or less, I don't like so much the word MMS, because there's a pro and con and polemics about it. Chlorine dioxide, let's say.
Right.
The chlorine dioxide, what it does, first, it alkalines your body. Second, it cleans pathogens. Third, it disinfects. And fourth, it's not dangerous for your health as long as you don't breathe it.
As long as you don't breathe it, okay.
Okay. What does it mean? Anything you breathe that is not air is toxic. For example, we will not prohibit water, because you can breathe it and you can die from it, obviously. And there are thousands of people dying every year from breathing water. It's called drowning.
Right. So what about...
maybe they will come out with a law about that. I don't know.
I'm sure they will.
Most likely.
Most likely.
So
what about
the FDA
people
should regulate it too.
Yeah.
What about people that breathe, like nebulize, like for a while there I was nebulizing garlic.
And silver.
Is that...
is that a bad idea?
Is that bad?
Well, there are many possibilities to do and to make help to your body. If we can bring it down to a very easy thing. First, everybody's different. And second, everybody needs balance. So my balance is not your balance. And the third person too. So we have to get the correct balance in our body and to see where the problem is. And we cannot put everybody in the same box. And actually, when I go through the hospitals, And later you go down to the dinner where they eat, even the doctors themselves, they eat such a crap food in the hospitals.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's a hospital. It should be the most excellent food in the world.
You would think, right?
It should be, at least, but if by logic or by nature. And well, I'm still looking for this hospital.
So you've been pretty out there in terms of your work with autism and using chlorine dioxide and drawing a relationship to parasites that we've been learning a lot about lately. We just had Dr.
Alex
Valinsky on the show, and I know you've referenced his work, and he talks about the rope worms and things, and and I've seen a lot of your stuff on parasites as well. It's pretty interesting connection, isn't it?
Yeah, we have to understand one thing. Every living being has a parasite. Everyone. It doesn't matter if it's a plant. For example, plants have parasites. We know that.
Wow.
Other plants. Or we have bacteria that have some viruses as a parasite, or name it whatever you want. And it's just, I call it the third law of opportunity. Every living being is opportunistic. It doesn't matter what it is or how and where. Everybody is acting because it's opportunistic. And I think I don't know if it's the right word in English. I think so. No, you can say that?
Yeah, yes. That's perfect.
If we understand that part, it's very, very logic. And the parasites we have inside are adapting to the different circumstances. Of course, we don't know actually what's going on in every moment, because we have been in balance with, let's say, most of the parasites we have. But this balance is being heavily disturbed by our food, by our environment, by everything. So what I found out is that in autism, basically, the kids have a problem with the stool. And I started to treat it, and after long research, I made a protocol, a big protocol. It's, I don't know, it's 39 pages or something like that.
I was reading that.
And actually, now we have child number 120 that's cured by autism, and all of them improved, with no doubt.
So are they able to reverse the symptoms, like all of the symptoms?
They are completely normal kids.
You're kidding
me.
Wow. And so they follow your protocol?
And ADH, the attention deficit syndrome, is nothing, to me personally, I might be wrong, but to me it's nothing else like a very light autism. It's the same. So it has to do directly with what we are eating and with the vaccines, obviously.
So when you said the kids have a problem with their stool, what did you mean by that?
Actually, you find slime in the stool. Well, not only with kids or persons too. If you have a slime in the stool, many time it's diagnosed negative and say, well, that's mucin or mucus and so on. Till the moment you find a mucus that's 1 meter long and doesn't go, you cannot tear it apart because it's protein, So a mucus is hydrosoluble by water, and a protein is not. So if you have a mucus that does not fall apart when you put water on, most likely it's the rest of a parasite.
Wow. Gosh. Well, Kate was doing some coffee enemas recently, and she took a couple pictures and blogged about it, and has some pictures on her blog of what looks to be like some kind of parasite. I'm not sure what it is, but it is quite normal, because what we eat is not actually what we should eat. I think we all agree about that.
Yeah.
And even if you want, it's very difficult. It's not only eating; it's eating, moving, working. We are not living in a tribe anymore, somewhere in the jungle. We are sitting too much in front of the TV, of the computer, or on the office, or wherever, in the car, and our lifestyle has changed so drastically that our body has not been able to adapt himself. So you create opportunities for living beings or entities that before had no opportunity.
So now the connection between autism and parasites is you're finding that the vaccines are having some sort of connection with the with the parasites.
Yeah,
right?
the name parasitological vaccinosis is because there was Dr. I forgot the name now. He proved he was making a line in between vaccines. He was heavily criticized. Obviously, they've thrown him out. They get away with the license, etc. And it's normal, sadly.
Yeah.
And what happened then is I was thinking about it and say, wait a moment, there's something, if a vaccine would create autism, all the kids should have autism. And they don't. So where is the point we are missing? And looking backwards, I came when I was working with MMS, and there were some people that called me or phoned me or write, Andreas, I just take 2 drops of these chlorine dioxide solution, and I feel very bad about it. I said, it's not possible. I can give it to my cat. So I wondered what it could be, till I recognized that if we have parasites and we give just 2 drops of these chlorine dioxide, it will not kill the big ones. It kills the small ones.
Okay.
But the big ones, due to electric resistance, they are not killed. And in this moment, when I saw that the big ones started to defecate in your body, and this fecal matter of the parasites has 5 different toxic, at least. For example, in Ascaris, and I'm speaking about Ascaris suum, not lumbricoides. They're very similar, but they come on. One's coming from the pig. So the fecal matter of these worms, let's say, and this was my hypothesis because Dr. Wolinski has a different one. This was my first one. He might be very true too. So I'm not saying he's not true. So the fecal matter of these are 5 different toxins. One is, let me think about it now. It's formaldehyde. Another one is an ammonia. Another one is MDA, malondialdehyde. Another one is, let me think, histamine, and the last one is morphine.
Histamine and morphine. Interesting. Okay. Wow.
So these toxins could drive crazy anyone. For example, if you're drunk and you have usually a problem with ammonia, right? It's an ammonia process. Let's simplify it like that. The problem is that many parasites are not detected because they can hide very well. They learned it in millions of years, and we have a test. It's called the ELISA test, where they test the immunoglobulin, IgM or IgG, and it showed out negative. Here's nothing. Well, you will only see something if the body reacts. But what if the body of the kid doesn't even know that it has parasites because they hide so well, or they show enzymes or morphine that the body thinks, oh, here's nobody, And that is actually what is happening. Most of the parasites are very clever and can hide in a way that in the tests is negative. Actually, most of the tests were negative. Till Kerry Rivera came up once, and they tested this with a veterinary and the poo of a kid, and the vet didn't know that it wasn't from a dog, and said, "Well, your animal has to be really strange behavior, because I found a lot of strange stuff in it." So
really,
that's what it is. Usually, in the field of parasitological testing, it's just contrast, because nobody is sitting 8 hours about a pot of poo smelling in under the microscope. Who wants to do that?
Right.
Right.
No? So this is a problem, and we think we don't have any problems because when in the universities they say, well, there are some parasite problems in the third world. I say, wait a moment. The mango is not growing in New York, actually.
Right.
And so on. So and then we have fluctuations of people constantly over the world. So it's a bit absurd. And once you take it into consideration that it could be something like that, your eyes get open. And you see that, for example, and what I found out, when a kid has parasites, and having parasites, you give the vaccine shot, especially the triple, I don't know what's the name in English, the rubiola.
Rubella.
There's a special one everybody knows at 3 years more or less, triple. I don't know the English word, sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, they do give them one.
Yeah.
In German, it's Mumps, Masern, Röteln.
Mumps, measles, and rubella.
Yeah, mumps, measles, and...
rubella?
Yeah, maybe rubella, yeah.
Or rubella, something like that. From that point on, most of them fell into the spectrum. Bit by bit, pop. And they don't fall in one day. That means it is a silent takeover of the parasites. And nobody actually understood what was happening because you don't see it in the first day. You see in the first days that the kid is a bit bad and so on and so forth. And actually, for me, it's a complete crime to a newborn kid that cannot even eat everything inject directly 8 different different pathogens in the blood, and the system got nuts about it.
Yeah.
So what the industry is doing now, they're poisoning our kids, definitely.
Isn't that interesting? And you have a whole thing on your website for people to know about, as a blog titled "How to Detect and Treat a Parasitic Infection," and this is great information with Dr. Andreas Kalker, and we're going to be right back with him after this break, and we're going to get into maybe some of the ways that we can get these parasites out of our body and the connection between autism further. Very interesting. Very, very interesting stuff. So stay tuned. We're going to be back with Andreas Kalker right after this break. Kate and I have had our sauna for about a year now, I'd say, when we first got it from Phil Wilson. And it's an incredible machine. We use ours about every single day. Kate sits in about 20 minutes, and I sit in there about for a half hour. Usually watch a documentary, and it's extremely relaxing. It's really, really incredible machine. And if you go to extremelealthradio.com/sauna, you can learn all about it. We did an entire hour interview with Phil Wilson. You can check that out. You can look at the pictures of us with it. You can watch videos on that page. It helps you to sleep really, really well. You can lose a lot of weight with it. You can burn, I think, around 600 calories in about 20 minutes or so. It improves your skin, increases circulation all over the body, and circulation is critical for your health. You can prevent and reverse diseases with it. If you have a cold or flu, it's incredible. It heats you down to the core. It heats 4 to 6 inches inside your body, so it's really incredible. And a lot of people use it for cancer as well. So if you have any kind of incurable, quote, disease, you can use it for that. And Dr. Shade is the foremost authority on detoxification. And listen to what he says about it.
How do I detoxify from plastics? I mean, you guys are using a sauna. And what does a sauna do for us? A sauna is great. It's moving a number of different toxins. Remember, we talked about the mice that if you put PCBs in there, then that made the mercurial that much worse. And sweating moves out a lot of plastics, volatiles, fat-based toxins. It's really good at moving those out, sweating those out. So that's how you're getting those out, and those are contributing to this synergistic soup inside the body. And so that's why they're good, is they're taking out a bunch of the different things in the soup.
And Daniel Vitalis, one of our favorite guests. What do you have to say about the sauna?
When you go into the sauna, like a far infrared sauna like you discussed, your body goes into a deep relaxation mode, and your sympathetic nervous system shuts down and your parasympathetic nervous system turns on. And when that's active, that's the nervous system, part of your nervous system that's active when you meditate. That becomes active, and your detoxification pathways open up wide. Why is this important? It's important because when you go running and you sweat, you're not necessarily eliminating very much toxicity from your body. But when you sweat in the sauna, you eliminate a lot of toxicity from your body. So sweating in a relaxed state is how we eliminate. The other thing is that what's wonderful about the sauna is that it puts you in a parasympathetic nervous system response, like as if you were meditating. So it's almost a hack. It's like a trick to get yourself into a meditative, relaxed state, to decompress stress, to reverse the effects of stress, and to get your body eliminating deep, deep toxicity that's stored in your body fat because it can come out in the oils of your skin. So I think, sauna is one of the most crucial detoxification, really health practices that we could take on, especially in this era of heavy toxicity, particularly fat-soluble toxins.
This sauna is really, really great. They offer payment plans because if you buy it through PayPal, it's 100% secure. You don't even need a PayPal account. I think you could do a payment plan through PayPal. It's got low EMF electromagnetic fields coming off of it. It's portable, so that means you don't have to knock down a wall in your house. You can just move it from room to room. It sets up in about 2 to 5 minutes. It's super easy to clean. All you got to do is wipe it down when you're done and wipe the neck down. And it produces energy and heat inside very, very evenly throughout the whole machine. All you have to do is sit in there for about 15 minutes a day. And the great thing I like about it too is it requires zero preheating. So you turn it on and you're starting to get warm and you're starting to detoxify with that far infrared light almost immediately. So it's really great. It comes with a 1-year warranty. It's about $990 plus $25 shipping. And that's really, really a good deal because if you look at most of the regular saunas out there, they are in the $2,000 to $4,000 range. So this is really, really a good deal. So check it out, extremehealthradio.com/sauna.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
So if you guys have any questions about that amazing sauna, please let me know. I know you may have a lot of questions because it's quite an expensive little unit. That's about $1,000, but really well worth it in my opinion. So if you want to know anything about it, please just let me know and I can help you out, answer any questions that you may have about it. And as the lady said, don't forget to follow us on Facebook. We'd love to have you part of the community, as well as our online forum that we have on our website exclusive to you guys and your Extreme Health Radio listeners. And it's just a lot going on. So it's just really great, and it's an honor for us to have you listen. So really appreciate that. And so we were talking about parasites, and Kate and I were talking during the break about how it's almost impossible to live on planet Earth and not have a parasite.
Well, it clearly is impossible.
It is impossible.
What Andreas was saying earlier, everything, if plants have it, good night.
I know, right? They're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, Andreas, Kate and I were talking during the break. Is it important for people, do you think, to do a parasite cleanse like maybe once a year or more often, or what would you recommend?
Well, I should say you're right. Everybody has some parasite somewhere, but it's the same as with toxins. The quantity makes it, so it's not the question of having a parasite or two, it's having a how much. Mm-hmm. So if you have the problem is not the parasite, it's a parasite takeover, what I'm speaking. Mm-hmm. So a parasite takeover, there are many illnesses that I can now relate directly to it. Several forms of arthritis, for example, depression, different. It's all in the most of these things you can read in my website. No? Mm-hmm. So many illnesses I can relate to this. I may be right, I may be wrong, but the experience has shown that the people that made it, they were successful. I remember a lady. She went to a seminar in Andorra I gave last or 2 years ago. And she came to me and said, Andreas, I'm taking the MMS or chlorine dioxide now 3 months, and I'm not feeling well. It doesn't work for me. And say, well, then wait a moment, what are you doing? So she said, well, I have a diabetes, and my glucose values are above 500.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, for 20 years. Diabetes type 1. So I said, that's what I said. My goodness! And if you look at her, you would see it too, because the eyes were very. You couldn't see it in the eyes, and the feet problems in the feet. She was really suffering a lot and injecting a lot of insulin. What happened then? So in that moment, I was just fresh with these parasite protocol that now. I think it's now established, at least in the circle, because 120 kids, it is a number, you know. And in the beginning, I was heavily criticized by it. So this woman made the same protocol, and look what. She was in, I don't know, half a year later, she came to another conference I gave, or seminar I gave in Barcelona. And her name is Concha. It's an internet. It's in Spanish. And somebody recorded it. And she said, well, Andreas, look at me. My day, I don't have to do injections anymore. My values dropped due to 100. That's basically normal. After 20 years, my feet are okay. My eyes are getting better, or so very much better. So no, she was really happy. No? And I was amazed because I never had diabetes type 1 effects. So I asked myself, and that's just a question, and I asked kind permission from other professionals, if what we are considering autoimmune diseases actually is not something else like collateral damage that our body does when there is a presence of parasites. What does it mean? For example, we know that larvae of Ascaris first go to the liver, from the liver go to the pancreas, from the pancreas they travel through the heart into your lung. From the lung they go up to your glottis, and then you swallow them in the morning after coughing, so and down. Then when it's down, then they start to get big, because in your lung they're really small. They're only 26 nanometers big, so a bit bigger than bacteria.
So when you swallow it back down, does the hydrochloric acid?
Then the big bugs grow, you know.
But does the hydrochloric acid affect them when you swallow it down after coughing?
Exactly. If you swallow it down and your hydrochloric acid is okay, they will die. So what do? The grandfathers that are already living down there, what they do is they alter your pepsin values and your stomach so that they don't die. They're very clever.
Isn't that wild?
Gosh.
They've been on the world before us. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that these helminths travel through the pancreas. And I said, wait a moment. If they are in the Langerhans cells and our body is detecting them somehow, or they're hiding because they're small at that stage and they have to hide somehow, but they have to get nutrition. They have to do both, nutrition and hiding, from our antibodies, especially the eosinophils. In this moment, the body is saying, hey, I have terrorists in the cellar, and what should I do? Well, they throw a hand grenade in the cellar and close the door.
Right.
The problem is that afterwards the cellar is made a mess, but the terrorists are gone. So that might be the idea, very simplified, of course, how our body is handling the so-called autoimmune illnesses.
Do you think there's any connection to a cancer?
Because the autoimmune illnesses, many of them, I can relate more and more of them directly to that. I'm not professional enough, let's say, or specialist in this field. I'm just making the hypothesis based on my work. And if you can, it's not the only case that diabetes went down. I have more cases of that. And they don't go all down. So there are more to it. So there's much more to it. And I do not say that this chlorine dioxide heals all diabetes or that heals all cancer. That would be stupid. It's not so.
Dr. Kalker, is there a connection, do you think, to cancer as well and parasites?
Oh boy, of course, yes. We know that 18% of cancers are directly related with parasites.
Interesting.
Okay.
We know it's not a thing, but very little oncologists know that.
Do we know what the relationship is? If you said they're related, or is there a causative factor? Do you think, or?
Well, it's just look by logic. I will make it simple. If you have metastasis, supposedly a cell of your butt is traveling to your body. I think it's much more logic. A parasite is traveling through your body and spreading it, because they are living off by dead proteins. They're living off. There are like in Spain you say carroñero. They're not meat eaters. They are
carnivores.
Rotten.
Yeah.
How do you say in English? Sorry.
No. Rotten.
The what's already overdue, let's say, so the rests,
Yes, the leftovers.
The leftovers, or everything that's rotten already, or
rotten.
They cannot digest fresh meat.
Okay.
So they are directly related to these cells, and if you have cancer cells, well, they are most likely they're very near to them, or in them, or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a specialist in this, but it would have a very good logic because we have many success. So I don't know why we have the success sometimes, but we have. That's the point.
So
I was heavily criticized in the beginning. Why are we giving bleach to autistic children? Actually, the breakthrough is, first of all, the chlorine dioxide is not bleach. Well, it is. The people don't understand actually what about chemistry. Very little, because if you say to somebody, "Do you swallow? Would you take dynamite to heal yourself?" People will, "Yeah, you do." Would you do? It's a question.
No.
No.
Surely you would, because it's a nitro spray you put under your tongue when you have heart problems. You do. Or would you take rat poison?
I guess we do.
Exactly. It's exactly the same if you have the blood thinners. No?
Yeah.
The warfarin. It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same material.
That's true, yeah.
When people are thinking about toxicity, first make a course about what toxicity is before telling stupid things somewhere. So the toxicity in this case of the chlorine dioxide, it is just a lung toxicity, and anything that's not air is toxic. So in the body, what it does, it's cleaning up so much by liberating the oxygen. And this is basically the part it does.
It's so interesting, yeah, because there's, like you said, people talking about it. I know one of our guests who has been on, Dr. Mark Circus, has written about it, and he writes disparagingly about MMS, but people have different opinions, and it seems to be getting some incredible results, especially with autistic kids.
I'm just trying to get data to it. Actually, there are many people asking me how much drops for this and how much drops for that. I'm sorry, that's not. It would be a legal issue. I cannot do that.
Right.
I'm asking people not to do or write me about that.
Yeah.
But if there is a doctor or a professional, health professional, yes, I can. Because actually sodium chloride now is from the 19th of June of 2013, it was the birthday of my mother, it is approved as a legal, as a legal medicament. So from Brussels in Europe. Here's a link. I can give you the link.
That would be great.
Wait a moment. And so it is a legal, but orphan medicament. So it is not. It's not something you can get in the pharmacy easily. So it's just but it works against ELA.
Okay.
Lateral amyotrophic. And this is one step forward, and step by step people are finding out that there's a truth behind all the MMS. And that people like me or Jim may be wrong in some little details. Yes, of course. Or maybe this or that. Yes, of course. But it doesn't change that it works. Mm-hmm. So the same I say with the parasites. So Dr. Wolinski says it's a rope. Mm-hmm. I think, yes, it's possible. It is. But I found some, in the microscope, I found several details, let's say the egg nests that are different. So I differ a little bit from him. Maybe both of us are wrong, and it's something completely different. We don't know. Mm-hmm. The point is that it's that with this protocol, people get help, and they get healed, the kids. And this is a big thing. For me, the important thing is not about the medical term you need for it. For me, the big thing is when a kid looks into the eyes of the mother for the first time in 9 years and can say, I love you.
Wow. That's powerful stuff. We're going to take a little break right now, and we'll be right back after the break to continue this conversation. But just fascinating stuff. Mm-hmm. And I would encourage all of you guys to go to Andreas Kalker's website, which is Andreas Kalker, KALCKER.com. We'll link it up on this show page, episode 211. And he's got this incredible protocol for getting rid of parasites that is really, really amazing. And he gives all these symptoms of parasites. And it's pretty much
a looking at that. It's pretty exhaustive, isn't it?
It's pretty much a guaranteed. Yeah, we all have these symptoms. So really fascinating stuff. We're going to be right back with Dr. Andreas Kalker right after this break. I have been a huge fan of Rebounding for many, many years. And if you want to get in great cardiovascular shape, tone your legs, back, and butt, and stomach, as well as cleanse your lymphatic system from toxins and chemicals, you just have to start Rebounding. It's imperative. And not only will it create endorphins that quickly become addictive to you, but it's very low impact as well. It helps to prevent sicknesses and diseases, as well as increase bone density, and it flushes toxins from your lymphatic system. It's amazing. And not only that, but it's a ton of fun also. I do it every single day for about 15 minutes. And we found the best rebounder on the market today in the world, bar none. It's called the Bellicon Rebounder. It's the Rolls-Royce of rebounders, in my opinion. And let's listen to some of what our guests have had to say about rebounding. Robert von Sarbacher is a health researcher and creator of the Mini Beat Protocol. And Robert, what's your favorite exercise?
In general, probably one of the number one anti-aging exercises on the planet is rebounding. So 15 minutes a day is good for that. You can find people who have had thermography scans on cancers, giant tumors, and when they're doing a rebounder, it would start spewing out and shrinking right in front of your eyes, the tumor would, as they're on the rebounder. So it's really good for that sort of thing. It's also very good for exercising internal organs. It's the only internal organ exerciser that I know of known to man.
Dr. Lindsay Duncan is the CEO and founder of Genesis Today. And what's the best way that you think of to stimulate the lymphatic system of the body?
Rebounding is incredible because it's good for the lymphatic system, and there's more lymph fluid in the body than there is blood. And the quickest way and the most effective way to get the lymphatic system flowing is through rebounding itself.
Yeah, because the lymphatic system can't really detox itself, can it? I think you know.
No, the heart, we have the heart, thank you, for pumping blood. And we don't have a heart to pump lymphatic fluid. The only thing that really can pump lymphatic fluid is cardiovascular exercise utilizing the thighs, the thigh muscles. And that's why rebounding and getting a burn in that thigh muscle is so important for the flow and the stimulation of the lymphatic fluid.
Wow, and they even put cancer patients on rebounding, don't they?
Nutritionists do.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but not a conventional doctor. But yeah, I've been learning about rebounding lately. It's quite an amazing thing.
Yeah, rebounding's amazing.
Health researcher and author of Cancer Step Outside the Box, Ty Bollinger. What do you do in your life to prevent cancer?
What do you do to treat cancer? What do you do to prevent it? Rebounding is something that I try to do on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. A little mini trampoline for those people that aren't familiar with the term rebounding, but it's basically just jumping up and down on a little mini tramp. Mm-hmm. What that does is it stimulates the lymphatic system. Lymphatic system is one of our primary detoxification systems in our body, and most folks don't stimulate their lymph flow, and so the toxicity in their body builds up because their lymph is not stimulated, and the up-down motion on a rebounder stimulates the lymph flow better than just about any other exercise. So I do that almost on a daily, probably 5 days a week. I would say I average doing that.
And finally, author and speaker and creator of the Longevity Now program, David Wolf. Do you think the Bellicon is the best rebounder on the market today?
Absolutely. I was just with the crew in Europe that does the Bellicon Rebounder, which is an incredible rebounder. My God, what a machine.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't use metal springs. It uses like flexi ropes. So it's very soft and fun, and it's just great to play with.
Well, there you have it. The up and down G-force actually stimulates every single cell in your body. It's incredible. And as someone who works out in the gym a lot and does Qigong, I think that the best physical aerobic exercise, in my opinion, is rebounding. It's just absolutely incredible for the human body. And the Bellicon is silent, and it comes with a warranty, and you can get them in several different sizes and colors, and some of them have bars that you can hold on to in case you're worried about balance. It's a well worth it investment in your health and in your future. So check them out in our store if you'd like, or you can check out the videos on extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon. Again, that's extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon. That's B as in boy, ELLICON.
All free shows, all the time on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
I don't know why, Kate, but every time we have someone on talking about parasites, I just love the subject matter so much. Why is that?
I know, we're fascinated at every break. Whoever we're talking to, we're like, oh, we have all these thoughts come in our heads. We just can't stop talking about them.
I know.
We're very fascinated, aren't we?
I'm just fascinated by parasites.
Well, it's probably because we know we suffer from them, and everyone does, but you and I have had some digestive problems that makes us a little bit more excited about talking about this, I think. But
yeah, I know. I just feel like, man, I think they're affecting us. I think in 100 or 200 years, we're going to realize just how much these things affect us and our overall health. It's crazy because, people think digestive issues, but I mean, all these things could be related to parasites.
Right,
we just don't know.
Well, I think people think parasite, oh, well, I got rid of it. If you get tested, quote, tested and treated for a parasite, then it's gone. I don't think that people understand the ongoing and how it actually all works.
Right,
it's sad, but
yeah, interesting stuff. So this is a great conversation with Dr. Andreas Kalker, and his website is andreaskalker.com, and you spell his last name Kalcker. And I would highly recommend checking out all the different things he's into, specifically the Parasite Cleanse. And I'd like to get into that. He's got a whole protocol, like he mentioned before, that was, I think, 39 pages. And Dr. Kalker, is this the same protocol that you mentioned? Is this the one that's on your website?
Most likely, yes. Let's say I recommend the parents with autistic kids to buy the book from Carrie Rivera, because it's not only about my protocol. Carrie has done a fantastic work, and you can Google it out, Carrie Rivera or Autism. On her autism, she has a clinic in Mexico, and so together with her, we've been developing all that, because one thing is to make the protocol, and the other thing is to make the treatments. And what she did is she made closed Facebook places for the parents, where all the parents that already have recovered kids can help the other parents. Because to recover a kid is not going into a hospital. You do it at home. So you need knowledge. And if something happens, say, oh, my kid is flapping like crazy now, you should know that when you start with the die-off of the parasites, the kid might have these effects, these side effects in the beginning. Logical.
Interesting.
And so the other parents can help them, and they don't phone me at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right. I'm sure that could be frightening if people are prepared.
Because it has become just too big. As I told you before, I've been giving lectures and conferences in the last year in 22 countries. And this year will be more or less the same. And I love to do that. I'm looking forward to professionals that are interested in work together in somehow in that way. This is my job. If there are parents that need help, just contact Carrie Rivera at yahoo.com.
Okay.
And she will redirect you correctly.
And we'll put a link
very much to buy the book. You can buy it somewhere in the net, Voedia or wherever. It's some. I don't know if it's sold out already. I think the first edition is completely sold out.
Yeah, we'll put a link to her website. I think it's mmsautism.com, but we'll put a link to her website. So. Yeah, she's doing great work, and we're going to work on getting her on the show. Yeah, she's so great. And so this parasite cleanse that you have, how often would you recommend people do it? Is there a set thing?
I would recommend them to read the website and first make a list saying, I have this effects, I have this, to be sure how much you have. Because you say, if you have a lot of anxiety, if you have skin problems, if you have candida, and if you have butt itching, very surely you have. Or if you have bruxism, teeth grinding.
Oh, right.
And teeth grinding is, teeth grinding is typical by a parasite that's called Enterobius vermicularis.
Oh my gosh, I did
not know. It's a very tiny one. And they travel, and I call them the hormone junkies. They go to all the hormone places, are responsible for many illnesses related to that, like cystic ovaries, or even some breast cancers, problems in the thyroids, and so on and so forth. And they travel to the body and they go to the places where it's more opportunistic for them. So, but malaria, as you say, it's another parasite too. People don't know that. They say, well, dengue is the same like malaria. No, it is not. Dengue is a virus and malaria is a parasite.
Ah, okay. So you have a really interesting YouTube video that you shared with me before the show on the Red Cross and malaria, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What was that about?
Well, this is a very, I would say, a very sad issue.
Okay.
We have to understand that the big companies have a form to work, and there's no interest in many issues, many cures. Let's say what happened. We did Leo Kerr, a friend of mine, together with the Water Reference Center of the Red Cross. This is the Water Reference Center in Geneva. So it's not the Red Cross of America. No, it's the International Federation of all the Red Crosses.
Okay.
So the Red Cross of the Red Crosses. And so they made a field test, a clinical field test trial with the MMS, or let's say chlorine dioxide to be correct, or sodium chloride, activated sodium chloride. And in this video, you can see that they were amazed about it, because in the beginning when they made the test, they didn't know that it even will work. So they said, well, we made a test, it will come out nothing, and so on, and we had done our job. When they found out that from the 154 people that were clearly identified as malaria positive from over 700 or 800 people, they're clearly by two tests actually. When they saw that in 24 to 48 hours, all of them recovered, they were so amazed that they couldn't even believe it. And that's Klaus Persmans, who's the one who's speaking. He's the boss of the company, of Water Reference Center.
Wow.
So we thought, well, we made the breakthrough. We finally made the breakthrough. There are over 1 million people dying in the world of malaria, especially kids. I can get used to see people dying. I cannot get used to see kids dying. That's a fact. So it was done on the 12th of 2012. In 2013, we were waiting. But Leo had another video filmed out So we brought out this video, and they get very upset about it and denied that it ever happened. They said the test never happened, this never has been, and so on and so forth. And then is when I understood that actually malaria is a huge business. Because if about 100 people, 30 people get malaria, and you can cure them with a few cents, where's the business?
Right.
But if you have 100 people and you can vaccinate 100, or you can give pills, 8 pills a day, that's what you get down there, to 100 people, that's a business.
Yeah. Do we know how much they're making on this?
$13 billion a year.
13 billion on malaria.
On preventive drugs, yes.
On preventative drugs for malaria.
This
That's
is preventive
amazing.
drugs that creates other illnesses, even worse, on long term. And while the effectivity of sodium chloride as a malaria drug is 100% proven in 154 cases. That means 143 cases were cured after one single dose in 24 hours. The 11 cases that were given very less quantity because they were really very bad shape needed a second dose. That's nothing. It's 2 doses.
Wow.
And we could change the world with this. And then I understood what's going on because Klaas Persmans reported back to Geneva. And Geneva, what happened in Geneva? Well, there you have the head, the financial boss of the Red Cross. He's Crystal Chetty. And Crystal Chetty even has a foundation, the Chetty Foundation. And he is the one who signs all the checks of the Red Cross. I can see directly the relationship because a water reference center is a business company too. They make water and sell the stuff. Now, if you go to the water reference center website, they distance themselves from the test. They did it. They did it themselves. It's like if you shoot somebody, they film it. You tell it on the TV, and later you say, well, I'm distancing myself from the shooting. That's what they do. Go. You just go to the website, everybody who's interested. Wow. I'm not speaking, and I would like to point out very, very good here, I'm not speaking about the volunteers of the Red Cross. Not at all. They are 110% fantastic people that want to help. You know? The same like the people that want to help in the Cancer Society, American Cancer Society, the people that are recollecting the money. What they don't know, that the president of the Cancer Society is making more than $10,000 a month, a day.
A day.
From the money they collect. And the American Cancer Society has over $1 billion of assets. So when we understand that there's no interest in all of curing cancer. It is a fantastic business.
Great business model.
For all of them.
Yeah.
Because if I'm the president making $13,000 a day, I'm definitely not interested to lose my job.
No. You know, I was curious in Kerry Rivera's...
The same happens with the Red Cross stuff. Red Cross is especially is a big one. I'm not speaking of little ONGs like we have. We have a little tiny ONG, you know, we make 3 or 4. We don't have the millions at all. It's just a few $1,000 we have there. So, but the big ones are definitely politically steered, and we have to understand that there are interests about that. So it is a very sad story, and the worst of all is all the communications, let's say radio stations, TV stations, or whatever I contacted with that, they just closed down. Nobody ever wants to get problems with the Red Cross. And one professional told me, Andreas, well, they invite us every year to Africa, and my wife likes very much to see the elephants.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
wow.
That's the truth behind the things, and we have to wake up.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, obviously, from a business financial perspective for them to cure anything. It's better to treat the symptoms and kind of just kick the can down the road. I was curious, I was going to ask you a couple of seconds ago about Kerry Rivera's book on autism and using MMS. Does she go into some of the protocols that she uses in that book?
Yes, of course. In the book, for example, I recommend the book because if you're a parent with autistic kids, you find there from the A to Z everything you need to cure your kid. This is why it was done. The first was about 300 pages long, and now will come out soon, the second edition, that's 600 pages.
Oh, my God.
Goodness gracious. Wow.
So every single question is there.
That's amazing. And so with her book on parasites
in there. So let's say the protocol I have in my website is a generic one for adults.
Okay.
But if you want in their book, it is adapted to kids, especially autistic kids.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to get pretty creative in terms of how you give MMS to an autistic kid.
Yeah, the most important breakthrough we did is not by so much the ingestion, it was by enema.
Okay.
When you make the MMS enema, and this is a ratio of 10 drops, activated drops in a liter of enema.
Okay.
For the people who wants to know that, then you make different things. First, the colon is absorbing the chlorine dioxide. It gets disinfected from bacteria, of course.
Uh-huh.
And this goes through the portal vein directly to the liver.
Mm-hmm.
That means that every illness that has liver problems or liver-related illness, the enema is the most effective way to take MMS.
Isn't that wild?
That makes sense.
Wow, so it would actually be 10 activated drops in 1 liter of water.
Right. So usually you have the bags from 2 liters, it would be 20. And as you take warm water, well, not hand warm water, a part evaporates too. So this has been proven to be very effective and very correct with no problems.
Now this
and
is
the other thing is my protocol does not has some pharmaceutical things. They're very old ones. They're 50 years old pharmaceuticals, not like now. And they are not systemic. It so means even if you ingest, for example, I'm recommending a called mebendazole.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the name now in America. We have to look up
the mebendazole.
And mebendazole, it's very plastic.
Right.
It is not absorbed by the body more than a maximum of 5%. So it goes in, it goes through, and this for me was the important thing, not to poison the kids at any moment at all. And we had more than, we have hundreds of kids on the protocol. I remember one of them, he is 19 years old. He was really lesionating, hurting himself. How do you say that in English? He hurts himself constantly against the wall with the head and so on.
Uh-huh.
And he, wait a moment, I have the data here and the photos. In 11 weeks, he had 38 pounds of parasites out.
Oh my God.
And he is a complete different guy now. He's not completely back, but the change is amazing, and this is an important thing. So any of the kids get back. Yeah, they can get back. It's a question of time. They get better. All of them get better, no doubt.
So it's just a matter of getting rid of these parasites, then, essentially, right? That's step number one.
Yes, the problem is I don't know specifically if I'm true with Ascaris.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, because we have all sorts of parasites come out. We've washed the poo, let's say, and see what's left over. And this is described in the book, and Carrie does it very well, and make a photo of it and make a size of it. So due to this work of the parents, I was able to go deeper inside because it's a statistical work. I do not have a laboratory or a clinic where I can put 200 kids in during 1 or 2 years. And to watch, it's not possible. So you need the parents to do that. And actually, I'm so happy that Facebook is giving the opportunity to create new systems of health helping. If our health system doesn't work, we have to help ourselves. So what is better to ask somebody who is already cured? And somebody who's cured wants to tell to other people that he is cured. It happened to me. I had a severe arthritis, and this is why I took the MMS first time. So I get healed by it, and I was amazed. I said, how it's possible? If it's not, you cannot heal that. And this was a start, and the other people too. And if you have fathers and mothers that are recovering their kids, I think this is one of the biggest emotional things ever.
Yeah, I can agree. That's amazing. And so, wow. So where do people go from here? Where would be a good place? This is kind of a question that I know is going to be very difficult for you, but where does one get a good supply of MMS? The place I used to get mine is no longer in business. They got shut down. And people ask me all the time, where do I get MMS? And for me, my 2 bottles are still there, so I don't have to buy it.
Exactly. This is a problem because it would not be legal. The legality is another thing. So depending where you are, you get better or less. Because what you have to look for is sodium chloride at 25 or 28%. HCl, also hydrochloric acid, at 4%. Important. 4%, not 40. Because 40 will kill you. Obviously, no. I've seen everything, so I say 4% very clearly. Okay, it's just like a stomach acid. And so these 2 things. Well, you can find it around there. I don't know. I don't want to promote anyone now. This is a problem. If I tell it in the radio, I seem to promote someone, depending where you are. So. What could you say?
Would it be possible for you to send me a couple places you might recommend?
I can send you a couple of places. I know they are okay because where I buy, okay. Because when I need something, or places that send me, because there are many people that made it, and they say, Andreas, you're doing such a great work. Do you need some chlorine dioxide? I'm making it. And I said, well, if you want. So they send it to us here. For example, there's a company, I can say it, it's dioxylife.com. They send, they send to us for helping people, or mmsmineralshop.com. There's another one. Okay. And I don't know.
I know there's a lot of legal issues with
yeah, exactly. So this is basically what it's about. No? So it's sodium chloride and hydrochloric acid. So, but there are differences of qualities, I have to say too, because I buy it in places. These places, for example, have a very good quality. Actually, I bought it in America sometimes, and it was really quite nasty compared to that.
So what would
usually it is? There are 2. We have to understand sodium chloride. There are several producers, and in the world wide, and it's made by tons. Basically, there are 2 lines. One line is for bleach. That's right. So, for example, if you want to bleach silk or very, very delicate cloth, you cannot use standard stuff. It would break the cloth, and they do it with sodium chloride. Or paper. Paper, they do it too. But the paper industry uses tons of it, and they have a lot of chlorate in it, with A, chlorate. But we don't want chlorate in the body, because this is more aggressive. And there's another sodium chloride. This is the sodium chloride you find for the water disinfection. That is a good one, because the chlorate is nearly indetectable. They use it for water purification, especially, and this depends on where it's made. For example, a big company in Spain is one of the best worldwide, Aircross. They made 450 tons or something like that, 450,000 tons a year. This is coming from a very old salt mine that's 400 million years old, very pure salt. So, it is. But I don't want to say that it's the only one. So if you look for it, try to get sodium chloride that is coming from water disinfection, not from pulp bleaching.
Interesting. Yeah, I will. I was looking at your your Parasite article there, and you were talking about some interesting things where you were saying how people should avoid, walking on grasses, like in parks where perhaps dogs have gone to the bathroom, or, walking barefoot, and ways to avoid parasites.
This is not so drastic. The most drastic thing is if you kiss your dog, be sure that he didn't lick another dog before in his butt, This is a problem. So if you can be the friend of the animals, and I have animals too, but we have to make a clear separation. What's an animal? What's a man? And so before, let's say 100 years ago, the dogs were outside sleeping. End of story. And in the house, there was a house. And now the dog is sleeping in the bed with many owners, and they kiss them and whatsoever. And it is very easy that a dog gets other parasites by licking poo of the other dog or even eating it, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I would think twice before I kiss a dog, actually.
Yeah, I would agree. And so let's see, where do we go from here? I said, or I heard you mention on one of your videos, you talked about if people want to prevent autism, they should consider doing some sort of parasite cleanse before pregnancy. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Actually, the parasites are transmitted through the placenta of the woman. Mm-hmm. We know that I know they have the data from the veterinaries. For example, if you have a female dog, let's say, and that's already de-parasite, parasite cleansing, the puppies, you have to make another one. Why? Because they hide in the legs. And when the dog, in the moment of birth, is liberating the progesterone, the hormone, then they run to the placenta in the last moment to get into. Mm-hmm. Because so the puppies, when they go through the birth channel, the body makes the last check and say everything what's in, it's okay. Wow. And this is why all the puppies get, not all, but most of the puppies have worms shortly after giving birth, and they never even had anything. They only had the milk of the mother dog.
Well, interesting.
My question is, why should it be different in humans? Mm-hmm. We are mammals too. So most likely, if the mother have parasites in a way that are not disturbing at all, but these parasites are triggered by the progesterone. Mm-hmm. To go in there. And then there are the helminths, especially. And this is actually how it is working then. This is not a big deal either, because we had parasites all our lives in 100 million years ago. Or 1 million years ago at least. The point is that when in this body that had some parasites, you put a vaccine, strong vaccines, the immune system drops down, the larvae get panicked and deorientated, and the larvae travel where they should not travel to. They go to the body of the kids where they shouldn't be, mm-hmm. and try to hide, to escape, to whatever, or make it take over, because the immune system is completely down. While in the kid, usually the immune system with the eosinophils, that's the white blood cell that protects you against parasites by nature. If this is going down, for example, if you make a chemotherapy in cancer, it goes down to zero, one day to the other. You kill all the white cells or eosinophils. And there are other antibacterials or other pharmaceutical products that bring down these eosinophils directly. Mm-hmm. That help against these parasites. So this is a problem, not the parasite per se. So we have to see how can we be strong against them. The first important thing is the stomach. Don't alkaline your stomach. Just don't. The second thing is make sport and health, as you say, because it was very interesting before in one of your publicities you have. It's true. The fluid, the blood is not the most abundant fluid in your body. It's the lymph liquids, mm-hmm. and the parasites travel through the lymph system. That's what it is. And the oxidation by our body, that means if you make some sport, creates really that the lymph system is drained out and this is gone. If we don't do and if we are couch potatoes, obviously it's more likely that we are more affected. It's our living style of life that makes it. So moving a bit, having a healthy life, taking care of your stomach and so on, usually it should work fine. If you're already infested, and this is a problem, and speaking about infestation, not about having 2 or 3, then you have to make the clearing and the protocol that's on my website. And after that, people are fine.
Wow. Well, thank you for spending so much time with us and sharing your information about parasites and MMS and autism. It's just a fascinating work. And so you were telling us before the show that you're going to be traveling around doing some lectures and talks and things. Are those available on your website?
The international not in the moment because I don't know. Actually, I don't organize my travelings.
Okay.
I'm sorry. They organize it for me. I just know that I'm there I will be on Autism 1 in Chicago. That's what I know. And I will be in Miami and in San Diego in May. Excellent. Around 18, 19 of May in San Diego, in Chicago around 25 of May. And later, well, it's already Berlin and so on. That's the problem. I'm traveling quite a lot, and I would like... My goal is to get it spread, the information, basically. And if some professionals are listening and are saying, hey, I'm working in this, and I would like to make a clinical or preclinical trial, this is what I'm looking for. I'm asking people to make preclinical trials. It's not so difficult. To have some results, to have data. Because sodium chloride is already a product that is approved in Brussels as a orphan medicament against ELA. So what I want to do is to get more approvals to other things, because it can help heal so many other things. And there's a law, the about orphan medicaments, that is the FDA has to do that too. It's international. So I would like to get through more orphan use of this substance, because it's just a simple substance, and help the people that have no help in this moment. That's actually what I would like to do, because when you are lost and helpless, if somebody helps, this is a big positive thing in your life, and you know why and what are you living for.
Well, I love it. Well, thank you so much for spending so much time with us. If you're listening to the live show right now, we're going to be signing off. And so if you'd like to catch further information from what Kate and I talk about after the live episode, you can catch the podcast, which is extremehealthradio.com/211. And we're going to be signing off the live show starting right now. Well, we will be in contact soon, probably tomorrow, and I'll send you the links and you can share them however you like, and we'll be off and running.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Nice to meet you, and have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
No more kissing you, Maggie.
All right. Well, he was interesting, wasn't he?
He was, very.
Yeah.
No more kissing Maggie.
No more kissing. I heard you say that.
I know.
Isn't that sad?
She just ran over to me, and I'm thinking, oh. Isn't it funny how many things are so, what's the word? Polar opposites, so conflicting.
What do you mean?
Because I was checking out his website, and you know how you were saying, you showed me the part where it recommends not running or walking barefoot on soil, wet sand, pretty much anywhere, park.
Don't go outside.
Don't go outside, don't breathe, don't, just kidding. Yeah. But it's the kind of thing where you think, gosh, walking barefoot and being grounded and just all these things that are so beneficial to you. But yeah, you're going to pick up a parasite along the way. It's like, golly, you feel damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It's crazy because you almost have to you have to get creative in today's world, because yes, that's so natural to walk around in parks and on grasses with no shoes.
Right.
But if you're weak, then you can get these parasites to get into your bloodstream. So, yes. You can't just do things willy-nilly, really.
No.
I guess is what
There's a lot of thought that has to go into how you live life.
Because if you're not healthy, I would imagine, it's possible to pick up parasites like that. But if you are healthy, I would imagine the parasites wouldn't want to use you as a host.
You would think.
So you have that to consider. Plus, whether or not there's dogs running around or whatever, is the beneficial part of the grounding worth outweighing a parasite that you could get?
Yeah, I know. All I know is that I have them, and I gotta work on these.
I know.
babies.
I feel like I have them too.
I know we do. It's creepy.
So he's going to be doing. Dr. Andreas Kalker is going to be doing some speaking here in the next few months around the world, and I think he's going to be doing a lot of work here in the United States, and he's going back to Europe to do some conferences and things. So he's readily available for his lectures and talks. So you may want to go onto his website, which is andreaskalker.com. We'll have a link to it on this page, which is 211, and you can find out what his speaking schedule is going to be. But he's also coming out with a really cool, interesting documentary in the next coming months, probably, like 6 months or so?
Sounded like it, yeah.
And what was it called again?
I'm not sure. Maybe we could put a link to it.
Yeah, I think it was called Forbidden Health, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll put a link to that. Yeah, just an interesting guy.
He's doing a lot of stuff, isn't he?
Yeah, he's doing a lot of good stuff. Interesting guy.
He really cares about people. You can tell he just wants to get the help out there. And
yeah.
Oh, man, his website is just, I'm looking at it right now, it's just chock full of so many things.
And he does a lot of interesting work, too, with like different kinds of alternative energies and scalar waves and all kinds of weird stuff. He's just a really interesting guy.
Yeah, I encourage everyone to look at the symptoms of parasitic infections on his site, too.
Yeah, we'll put a link to that article. That picture...
I pretty much check all those off.
That picture at the top of that article looks like the one from your blog post, Kate.
Sure does.
Doesn't it?
Yep.
It really does.
Yep, that thing that looks like a fluky... Oh, yeah. Ooh. Looks just like my body.
If you want more information and you want to listen to the show we did with either Jim Humble, that was 102, and then Dr. or Professor Alex Volinsky, that was episode 203. We'll put a link to those two podcasts on on this show page, which is 211, in case you're interested in learning more about parasites and ropeworms and things like that, because Volinsky's got this whole entire 5 enema protocol for getting rid of ropeworms, which is crazy.
Gosh, stuff is just monsters in our body, isn't it?
Monsters in our body.
I know you and I are pretty interested in all this stuff, aren't we?
Yeah, because I feel like it's probably one of the missing links in terms of health. I feel like it's involved in every disease process. What if you got rid of all your parasites or some of them, and you could almost, it seems like seemingly, get rid of every known condition.
It does, doesn't it?
You know, arthritis and dementia, everything.
The autism thing, the connection there is just fascinating to me. I can't imagine having a kid, like you said, that can't even look you in the eyes their whole life, and then at 9 years old they can look you directly in the face and say, I love you, and they're thinking with clarity, they're able to connect.
Isn't that wild?
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A lot going on. I thank God for people like him doing that work.
I know, right?
Yep. So grateful.
There are people that, talk about, especially the government. Well, if you go on to like Wikipedia or anything like this, they'll really do a lot of disparaging work against MMS and talk about how dangerous it is for the body and how it's killed people. But I don't know if much of that is substantiated. But whenever you have the government agencies talking bad about something you're doing, I have to think, not necessarily you're on the right track, but it's possible. It's possible. And I think Dr. Andreas Kalker, I think he's on the right track.
Seems to be
very interesting.
I feel like also too, it's always like you could take one bad example, one example gone wrong with anything. There's not a, who knows what the bad example was, how much of it they were taking. It's like there seems to be a very specific protocol with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If you veer a little off of it, you might cause yourself some problems.
Yeah, same with any pharmaceutical drug or anything, right?
But of course, it seems like the example is always, they made the bad example.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. All right, guys. So we're going to put all the links that he mentioned on this episode in this page, episode 211. And if you would like to support our work, please check out our store, the saunas, the rebounders. We've got all kinds of really great stuff in our store, and that's how we keep everything free for you guys. So if you want, please do that. There's lots of great products in there, and you can also send a donation in. All of our shows are 100% free, and we rely heavily on donations from you guys, and I'm so grateful for the recent donations that have come in. It's been so helpful, and so we're just so blessed, and so we want to thank you for that. It's just amazing. And so if you'd like to pass the show on to your friends, if you know anyone with autism or anyone that could be dealing with the symptoms of parasites, please pass this on to them and see what they may think about it. I imagine they'd have to be pretty open-minded to do MMS and to do enemas and things, but you never know, right?
If I can do them, anyone can do them.
That's right. So
I'll
thanks.
tell you, though, you definitely are spurred on by when you start seeing these things come out of your body. It's just things you never thought you'd do. You actually become a big fan of because you just see your health improving. You feel your health improving.
If you want to see Kate's Parasites, go to her blog, and one of the first posts that she has on there is
what did I call it? Like Monsters in My Body or
something like that.
Or my Enema. I think it was boring.
Oh, that's right.
My Enema experience.
Yeah.
I might retitle that.
You should retitle that.
Monsters in My Body.
Monsters in My colon.
Ew. It's true, though.
Yeah, if you guys would like to continue this conversation, too, please join our forum. There's lots of great listeners in there talking about all the different things that we discuss on the show. extremehealthradio.com/forum. It's free to sign up, and you can get your questions answered by all kinds of cutting-edge listeners, really. Our community is so incredible in terms of
so knowledgeable.
Their knowledge. Yeah, it's amazing. So please join that if you'd like. It would be great to have you a part of it, and I think it's time for Kate and I to
go make a smoothie.
That's right.
I think so.
Smoothie time. All right, guys, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even as you educate yourself in the field of live food nutrition and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers or listeners medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted as a diagnosis of any disease, nor an attempt to treat or prevent any disease or condition. While information in this blog and during this podcast is discussed in the context of numerous conditions, it can be dangerous to take action based on any of the information